Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Resonno, and you are listening to another episode of the world famous University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. My friend really loves when I do that. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I would just call this show Online Marketing Moves. We are coming to you live today. I hope you see my handsome face. Okay, we are doing a video. These videos aren't too bad. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I would just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. We gotta do an intro so we can just upload that every day. Okay, ladies and I am a writer and a broadcaster, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have any radio ads that you need broadcast, please contact me. Okay, um, I'll send me an email and I'll work with you. I mean, you hear it. But we have a great show for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started on this show, I just want to say that I was I was uploading some YouTube stuff. We do more. Listen, I'm going to give you a tip. This is a tip for anybody. If you do more uploading than you do watching, you're doing okay. Okay? So I was uploading a little YouTube short, which I'm getting pretty good at that, I must say, ladies and gentlemen. I've had a couple. Over 1,000 views, so far so good. We got to keep that going, and you need to be watching those YouTube shorts. You need to be watching these YouTube videos. You need to be watching the podcast feed. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's all get to getting. But I was doing some upload and I was doing some watching, and I looked and it said, one of the names, it said Tony Robbins, and I thought, Tony Robbins. I said, oh yeah, my name is Tony. The last name starts with an R. But ladies and gents, I am the better looking of the Tony R's. Okay, I am better looking. Uh, Tony Robbins, he might be in a little better shape, but he got more time on his hands to work out. I'm a busy man. Okay, but ladies and gents, we have a very important show for you today. Speaking of Tony Robbins, today we are going to talk about mindset, and the reason why I bring this up is, ladies and gentlemen, far too often we let things just stand in the way, for no reason. And oh yeah, by the way, before we get started, I watched Mission Impossible, a great movie. Okay, I won't even give it away, but it was good. I liked it, and I hope that's it, because And one thing, and tomorrow we'll talk about this. And tomorrow, this is going to be tomorrow's show, because I wrote this down immediately as I was going home. This Tom Cruise is a marketing genius. Okay, he loves that movie theater. Forget watching it inside your home. He's all about going to the movies. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about mindset, and we are going to talk about growth, and we are going to talk about it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where have you been. It only matters right now. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, and why aren't you doing it? And the reason why I bring this up, ladies and gentlemen, you see all the books back there? You see it. But the reason why I bring this up is because I was looking, I'm looking for, copywriting gigs, and copywriting, and people I can work with, clients I can work with, customers I can work with, however you want to put that. And I was looking, and there's always, there's people like, oh, you gotta have a college degree. I'm not gonna work with those people. But there's nothing that's gonna stop me from, getting more clients, getting more customers. And I thought the main goal for any business, you want to have a business, is you want to have too much business. Okay. And how do you get that? Of course, you gotta have the right, if your mindset, oh, I hope, maybe, could be, if you're wishing upon a star, ladies and gents, listen, it's not going to work. Listen, I pray to the good Lord in the morning, and I pray to God at night. Okay, I pray for my child, I pray for my wife, I pray for all my family, all my friends. I pray for you, people I don't know, people I do know, the audience of this show. I just say, God watch over everybody. Believers, non-believers, it don't matter. That's just where I'm at in life. But you know, that's good and well. But at the same time, you got to have the right mindset. You got to say, hey, this is what I want to do. How can I do it? What am I going to do to actually do it? And it's just like I said earlier. If you're posting more than you're watching, you're doing all right, because at the end of the day, listen, to grow a business, to grow any freelance business, to grow any, foot store, traffic business, any direct mail business, any type of business, whether it be you cutting grass or you doing hair, it doesn't matter. You want as many customers. How do you get those customers? You have the mindset, or hey, this is a service that I want to provide. This is what I want to do. How do I get these people? It's not about, oh, I hope I can get 100 people today. Oh, I hope 50 people walk in. It's no, where am I going to go get these people? These people are around, and I am going to make sure that they come to me. Okay. You got to have that mindset. You can't say, listen, I understand every now and then when you are in the beginning, listen, it's something I told my brother. When we was kids, we were taught, survival, hey, some of y'all might understand this, some of you might not. But you were taught, my mom told me one time when I was young, I was when I got to high school, we was doing A-OK. When we was in elementary, we when I was in when me and my brother was like, I was in the first grade, my brother probably was in the second, third grade. We were broke, but that's all right. It's neither here nor there. But what I'm telling you is, my mom, she was like, hey, I'm gonna write this check. It's gonna take a couple days to get to the bank. By the time we get to the bank, I'm gonna get paid. We're gonna cash my check, and that check is gonna clear. Boom, boom, boom. So I learned early. I'm like, oh, okay, you could do that. Okay, those are means of survival. What I'm telling this audience, all of us, anybody who's listening, is we need to learn the art of thriving. Okay, and that's the mindset you must take. It's why you should not be ashamed of what you charge. You should not be ashamed of what kind of service you provide, how much you're going to charge, how much you think you should make. You should never be ashamed of that. That is the mindset that you must have. Yeah, if you're selling envelopes, okay, you can't charge $1,000 for an envelope. You can maybe if it's some special type of envelope and you want to market it that way. But what I'm telling you is, you gotta have the right. You gotta tap into it. Okay, there's no reason why you can't change your life. There's no reason why you can't make the money that you want to make. There's no reason why you can't really do what you want to do. There's nothing to stop you. And the best part about these days, even though I know people would like to tell you that the world is super racist, which of course racism is always going to be out there in the world. But the people that tell you about racism, they have no issues about race. Okay? But that's neither here nor there. I digress. We are talking about mindset today. You got to have and you just got to say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And this is where we're at. Okay. You got to get away from, oh man, oh man, I wish I could be on stage. Why can't you? Okay. I saw a clip the other day. I was doing my upload, and it was suggested, and I saw a clip of this guy named Charleston White. He's doing a comedy show. I said, look at this guy, from out of basically thin air to doing comedy shows, and he had an audience, and people was listening, and it's like, hey, you could do that as well. He went through a heck of a way to do it, but he did it, and it's like, hey man, the end of the day, we are, because I see people now, every time I upload on TikTok, we're just doing it for the views and for the, you want to direct them somewhere, okay? And on TikTok, I can't upload my email list, so I'm, guiding them to the YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, we have the email list, and you want people to sign up for the email list. And so you always want to have a plan. You know what I mean? You always want to have a plan. And you gotta have the it's just you gotta develop it. I know sometimes, man, with listen, I'm telling you, I understand where you're coming from. I understand how you feel. Sometimes sometimes you just think, well, I remember when I was in the Navy. When I was in the Navy, it was like the second week I was in boot camp, and I was in the Navy, and I just thought to myself, dear God, how did we get here? What have I done? How did we get here? I was so ready. I was so done. I was cooked, as they say. Okay, I was so ready to be done. I was so ready to get out of there. I just kept thinking, what have I signed up for? What have I got myself into? And I said, you know what, man? You can't run away. You can't claim craziness. You can't do any of that. Let's just go. Let's just get into the right mind. And, because the first night, I remember they kept us up all night to the next day. And then we went to bed. And I remember in the middle of the night, I think I got 2 hours of sleep. They woke me up and was like, you got watch. And I had to stand watch. And I thought to myself, man, this is nuts. Okay? This is crazy. And I woke at 2 hours. I was like, oh my God. And I went back to bed, and it was like an hour later. They woke us back up. I was like, I am exhausted. I've never been that. Between boot camp and having a baby, I've never been that tired in my life. But I had, you had to get into the right mindset. When you're pressed, you're like, all right, let's go. And it's the same as anything. It's just like when I started podcasting. I'm like, there's so many there's so many podcasts in the world now, There's so many people creating content, And you have to think, and you have to say, and people like, no, man, and how can I listen? I know people want to talk to you on TikTok about, how to go viral and all this crap. But at the end of the day, you just got to start producing. The more content you produce, of course you got to have a plan, but you just got to produce the content too, And it's so stupid when people make videos about how to go viral. They just are making that video so they can get more views and more likes. And it's a part of it, but for you, just create the content. Have the mindset of, hey, okay. You say, hey, I want to create content. I want to be a content creator. Start by creating content, even if it's just a hi, bye, what's your name, what are you doing, just do that, And if there's a wave that you want to go on, if you want to be in entertainment, if you want to spill the tea on Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion or Drake or Kanye or Oprah or Angelina Jolie, that's what you want to do that, make more videos about entertainment. I am going to get into the making more videos about affiliate marketing, because that's something that I want to do on top of copywriting. So we are gonna make more and more videos. And I have I don't know if you see let me grab it real quick. You see my camera? We are going to do more and more videos about affiliate marketing. And I got my little my Canon EOS M720 and my Rode microphone. We are going to do more and more videos about affiliate marketing with my camera. And we're going to upload those on the YouTube channel. And so the mindset I have is, all right, we're going to discuss more and more things about affiliate marketing. We are going to use the camera. We're going to make a video on a daily basis. We're going to upload it. We're going to have a link. And we are going to do a high ticket affiliate marketing program that is educational and that I think people should go to. And we're going to do those, and we're going to do plenty of those. And the mindset I have is, hey, there might be people doing affiliate marketing videos, but they're not going to do it as great as me. Okay. And that's where we're at. And when it comes to podcasts, and I say, hey, we have the greatest podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. It's not Whistling Dixie. Okay. We don't, I mean that very much. Okay. Because we do have one of the best shows in podcast land. We don't have the biggest name in podcast land, and we don't kiss up to nobody, and we don't, we're not going to say that, people are attacking us. Well, there are people attacking this podcast, Spotify, because, they're not giving me $30 million like they gave, who they give $30 million to? Prince Harry and Meghan, disaster. Barack and Michelle Obama, disaster. Okay? Joe Rogan, they probably get that money back. Joe Rogan, they get that money back. But, Spotify, every day I go to Spotify, I'm like, count your days, Spotify. You stink, okay? I keep uploading on Spotify. I probably get more views on YouTube. I probably get more views on Apple. Spotify, no. I wrote Spotify a letter. They never wrote back. I'm gonna write them another letter. They ain't gonna write back. Spotify, they won't kiss up until you get a whole bunch, millions and millions of views. And by then, I'm gonna shun Spotify. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna hold them feet to the fire. You hear me? That's the mindset you gotta have, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta talk that talk. You gotta walk that walk. I'm telling you. Hey, you gotta get into the mindset, you gotta, I know people like, man, ego, not ego, belief, okay? Mindset. You gotta have it. You gotta be like, hey, I am me, okay? The Lord told you, I am, okay? You gotta say, hey, I am me. And me, we can do some great things, okay? You gotta tap into that, okay? You gotta, there's no woe is me. There's no woulda, coulda, shoulda, man, if I would have known this, man, if I would have known that. Well, now you know, okay? I had one of my cousins. We were having this conversation the other day, and he was telling me about taxes. One of my cousins, he said something. Wow, okay, wild. Some of the wildest stuff I ever heard. Now, I'm not a tax lawyer. I just want to say that right now. But he told me something I never heard. And leave a comment if you heard of this. He told me that if you get a divorce and you could charge your spouse rent, that's a tax write-off. That's a tax write-off. What? Crazy talk, okay? Crazy talk. I ain't never heard of that. And I don't even want to do that. That seems a bit much. But ladies and gentlemen, you gotta I know we've been talking for 20 minutes. We can go a few more minutes. You gotta have that mind. You gotta, because you can learn, you can get money. A lot of times people say, oh man, I ain't got no money. Come on, man, we can find the money. You can find the money. You start believing, you turn this boat around, okay? I got a microphone, I got a computer, I got a camera. I don't know where I got this stuff from. I bought the camera. I bought the camera so long ago. I bought the camera like 6, 7 years ago. I just really started using it. I bought this microphone. This microphone is probably 10 years old. I've just started using it within the last 2, 3 years, and we've cranked out 900 shows. Mindset, man. Mindset. I bought this stuff and I bought this stuff and I was like, I'm gonna use it one day. You know what I mean? Like, I know, and the universe is with you, man. I'm not even gonna talk to the universe. I'm not even going I'm not even gonna appease nobody. Listen, God is with you, okay? I ain't even gonna hold you. God is with you. I believe in God. I know God makes a path for everybody. God gives everybody talents. He gives everybody gifts. It's up to you to use them. Okay? I was gonna say the universe, but nah. Listen, I believe in what I believe in. You ain't gonna change my mind about that. I believe there's one God, and we're gonna take it from there. But we all have gifts. We all have talents. Man. It's like the story, the parable of the talents. One person went out, took 5, turned them into 10. One person took 2, turned them into 4. One person took his one talent and he buried it, and the master came back and said, "You lazy sloth, okay? You lazy sloth. Take him away." Because what did he do with his talent? Absolutely nothing. He buried it. So nobody could see it. Okay? So you gotta have the mindset. You gotta get away from the maybe coulda, shoulda, wouldas. You gotta get away from the, oh, this person has 300,000. I could never get like that. Yes, you can. You gotta get started. If you don't get started, you ain't gonna never do nothing. Okay? I'm telling you. You don't get started. You see me with these headphones, looking crazy, making these videos, coming to you live in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. I've been on the truck for a long time. I always thought that was gonna be my. I used to think, man, I'm gonna down this truck. I used to get sad sometimes thinking about it. I'm gonna down this truck. Then I just started thinking, when I got married, I said, you know what? Nah, I gotta do something different. And then I just kept thinking, working for people has never made me any real money. Not that I want to see, I want to make more. I want to make more. I want to be able to create my own income. I want to be able to create my own money tree. And so for me, it's like, all right, let's podcast. Let's go into copywriting because I do enjoy writing. I do enjoy writing, and I want to take the copywriting and start, line up the prospects, line up the clients, start making money, and I'll be able to write my own books, in the next, few months. And so for me, that's the mindset, and I'm like, we're gonna get there. It's not a matter of, oh, if I do, it's no. We are striving. Okay, we're on the YouTube, we're on the TikTok. And we gotta dig deeper. Okay, that's where I'm at in my mindset. We gotta dig deeper. We gotta get on TV. We gotta get on radio. We gotta get on the billboards, or at the bus stop, at the truck stop. We gotta get everywhere. Okay, we gotta spread the name Tony Resonno wide and far. From here, from Maine to Modesto. Okay, that's where from Modesto to Milan. That's where we're at. You gotta go deep. The deeper you go, the better off you will be. So don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. I told you the other day, where did Jesus have the least amount of miracles? In his hometown. Why? Because they knew him and they said, "Oh, he is just the son of a carpenter." That's the carpenter man right there. That ain't miracles. The carpenter man, nah, can't be. And so, it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter where you're at. What matters is, what do you have in your mind? What is going on in your mind? The mindset that you have. If you have the right mindset, you can develop the right mindset. There are plenty of books, there are plenty of audio programs that you can listen to that will get your mind right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And if you need any suggestions, ladies and gentlemen, I am here for you. Now, I'll say you should listen to more. I enjoy the biographies. One of my favorite is Walt Disney by Neil Gabler. Walt Disney, basically, he let his brother take care of the finances, and Walt just created. He created things that he thought in his image people would enjoy. And apparently they do, and apparently they did, and apparently they do, because people are still flocking to Disney World, Disneyland. People are still flocking there to this day. 1,000 years later, after Walt Disney left this earth, I believe he was 60 or 65 years old. And so he left this earth around I believe in the 50s or the 60s. I had to look it up, but what I'm telling you is, biographies. There are self-help books. Be careful about the self-help. You don't want to live in the self-help world, because after a while, the definition of self-help is to help yourself. Okay, you can listen to a book, you can listen to a program, you can listen to that stuff, but one of the things that you want to be doing while you're listening to that stuff is you want to be taking action. Okay, action cures all your problems. Okay, so don't worry about. Let's wrap this up. Don't worry about the hows, the whys, the shoulds, the coulds. Make a plan, formulate a plan, and get. Okay? You see this plan I got? Okay? That's a plan. I said, hey, we're gonna do audio programs, books, courses, classes. We're gonna do information. We're gonna do a lot of info, a lot of information marketing. We are going to do. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen. We're going to do affiliate marketing. We're going to do copywriting. We're going to make all that happen. That's the mindset. You got to have the correct mindset. All right, ladies and gents. That is it. Ladies and gentlemen, join the email list. Join the Tony Resonno email list. You will get daily emails. Matter of fact, one email will be turning out as this podcast is rolling. So if you want to get in on those on the email list, sign up. I will leave the link below. And until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Resonno. God bless each and every one of you. And as always, everybody, peace.